iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes. The best or nothing.
And here's how I know he's working too hard, and this is an intervention. I used to run into Josh from time to time at Odeon and other places because he had time for a life.
Right. Sure.
And now you're working so hard.
You don't see me anymore.
But you
like a fart in the wind. Just, I'm gone. I'm a ghost.
By the way, we'll start with the introductions. This is Gandhi.
Hello. Hi, Gandhi.
Gandhi started 3 days ago.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you enjoying the zoo?
I am loving it so far.
Oh. Yeah.
We'll see if this changes it.
And she loves you because of The Office.
Oh, thank you.
Garden Party, one of the best episodes ever.
That was as an avid Office fan myself. Doing that episode was so fun for me because that was one of the episodes where the entire cast was gathered for that party. So I got to just fanboy all over everybody. It was great.
And then Danielle, you remember Danielle?
Yes, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And I'm your host, Elvis.
Hi, Elvis. Hi.
Nice to see you. I don't know where to start with this intervention. I'm looking down the current things that are going on.
What could you give up if you had to give up
Your
one
work
thing?
schedule is affecting us in the following ways.
It really is.
Yeah. Those guys are so cool, aren't they? The interventionists. And we're just going to sit you down. We're going to say a few things, and you're going to be able to go. Okay, and that's going to be it. It's been busy, but I'd rather be busy than bored. So it's been a lot. I feel very lucky that I've been able to balance between kind of two worlds, between the music and the TV show. But I did it to myself, Elvis.
You did, and actually, it pays off especially for us if we love your work.
Well, thank you.
There, I buttered your bun. You happy?
Thank you.
Josh's story is very unique. I find it unique. I mean, he was a guy who was playing football in school, and
football.
Was it football? You were doing something.
Look at me. No. The radio can't see this physique right now, but
I'm trying to.
It must have been flag, Elvis, because truly,
I'm trying to write a story for you. Because I know you entertain.
This is sounding like Rudy.
You make crap up all the time.
They put me on their shoulders and walked me to the end zone. It was really no. I was not athletic at all. I was the theater nerd. But thank you. But
I will tell you this: this voice that your voice is just beyond.
Thank you so much.
But when you hear you and your music, do you go, yeah, man, this guy's got it? Or are you your worst critic?
I'm my worst critic. I'm always my worst critic. I think that's not uncommon with people in music. It's like actors who just, like, you see them cringe when they watch a clip of themselves on a talk show. Like, when it's hard to kind of step back and then watch it objectively because, of course, you always want to find ways you could have made that note better or find ways you could have rewritten that lyric to be a little better, but when I'm performing, when I'm in it and I'm in the moment and I'm singing, then it's all in. Then it's fully invested, fully there, and fully confident. It's just after it's done and after it's left to the world, I leave it to other people to decide, and then I kind of step back.
And of course, obviously, music is in your top 3 in your priorities in life. I must assume
it's still number 1. I would still say it's number 1.
Is there a song that you can just recall that, even to this day, when you hear it, it makes you go, this was my life changer. This is a song that kind of changed it for me. We all have those songs. What is yours?
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough on my last record, Stages, which was a musical theater record, to kind of sing some of those songs. I was, fortunate enough to sing, songs like Finishing the Hat from Sunday in the Park with George and, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. These are songs that when I was a kid, like I would lock myself in my room and I would sing them. I was hugely inspired by Paul Simon growing up because he was somebody who was a singer-songwriter who brought world music elements into his music and really kind of blurred genres in a way that made me say, oh, that's allowed. Like, that's okay to do that. And so, yeah, a couple of the songs, like a song like The Boxer by Paul Simon. That's cool.
Oh, funny you said that. The Boxer. Everyone's heard this.
I'm just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told.
I'll be Garfunkel.
Yeah, you weren't giving much love to Garfunkel there.
Sorry.
It was really all Paul.
Sorry, Art. Sorry, Artie.
Isn't it funny how you still hear a song like this?
Yes.
And it takes you to that place.
It does. It really does. I just want to meander the streets of Brooklyn and eat crumbs off the floor. I don't know. What do you?
What was that album you did? It was all live performances. I think it was with the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra.
I have worked with them. There was one at Tanglewood. I did something at Tanglewood with them, and then I did a concert at Symphony Hall in Boston, which was amazing.
That's the one. Yeah, and you performed, I think, with Sting and some other artists.
Sting. That's right. With Chris Bodie and Sting, we did "Shape of My Heart" together as a duet. That was fun. Sting was another big influence on me. I love Sting.
And by the way, one of the nicest guys.
So nice.
We have interviewed.
It's so cool and ageless, and just like he'll just pop up. Like I'll be at this thing, and somebody will be like, "Oh, Sting is here," and he'll be like, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly," and they're like, "Roxanne," and he'll just go up and he'll just sing these insane notes, like just after like 4 martinis. And I just, as a vocalist who like takes like an hour to warm up, I'm always jealous of the fact that he just pops it out.
The thing about the Stings of the world, and we've met everyone in this business. He is so well established. He's been around for so long. When he shows up to do an interview, he just shows up. There's no one with him. He just he took a cab. And
he was with Shaggy last time he was here.
That's right. I have seen Sting on the subway. I've sung with him, and I was too afraid to go up and say hi. I just left him alone. But I saw him on the subway like just last year.
Well, Josh, I know you don't like it when people say things like this, but there are artists who do everything they can to perform with you. I mean, you do.
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
what that. I ask. I do a lot of asking.
Oh,
when they say yes, it's always a nice surprise when somebody says yes.
Wait, have people said no?
Well, there have been scheduling conflicts. There have been times where there's something I want to do on stage or something, a new song for an album, and somebody will be like on tour at that time or something. But I have to say, I have been very, very fortunate that most have been yeses.
That's good.
And your music actually has reduced me to tears. I must admit.
Elvis.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm just an old gay guy that loves beautiful music. All right, let's go down the list. Let's get the intervention started. Let's start with Bridges, the album. It's available now.
Yes.
And we're going to play a song. I think we're going to play Granted. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. So this is your, how many albums? Eighth? Not
this
seventh?
is my 8th album. Not including kind of live stuff I've done. So I've really put out like 10 or 11 things, but I can't believe it's been almost 20 years. Almost 20 years since we first kind of started talking to each other.
You haven't aged at all, by the way.
Oh, come on.
You have not at all.
Like
you look
bitten by a
exactly the
vampire.
same.
Your producer just mentioned all the gray hairs in my beard before I got in here.
Of course he did.
Gandhi just said you're like a vampire.
Yeah, or at least bitten by one. It's a little ageless.
It's true. Well, I don't know. I was singing the Just for Men Gel theme song before I came in here.
All right, I take it back.
By the way,
It's time to comb that through. It's time
How
to
rude is that
some of
our
those,
producer
take some
says,
of those
hey, by the
strays.
way.
It's
He's
okay.
an ass.
I've embraced the salt and pepper. I like that it's kind of coming out a little bit.
Josh Groban loves him and where he is in
I'm
life.
confident. Damn it.
And by the way, Bridges is not out till Friday.
That's right.
Well, how did I get a copy of it? That's kind of weird. All right.
You're special.
I am special. Okay, so album. And so we know with an album, that means a tour. Okay, so you worked on the album, you're promoting the album. That takes a lot of time. But now there's a tour.
There is.
And you're out with Adina Menzel?
That's right. Adina's going to be coming out with us. And, every time I was recording a song for this album, I was thinking about how great it would go live. This is a very high-energy album for me. It's very rhythmic. And so, and we're back in arenas now. We'll be back at the Garden here. So it's, it's exciting for me when I'm recording to kind of visualize how we can make that a great show. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
You kind of gave away the surprise of the album. There's a lot of hip-hop in this thing.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah. My stage is going to be hovering above the stage.
It's true.
And
Adina, another great friend of our show.
I love Adina.
Great artist, great friend.
Okay, so full list of the tour dates, including our own Madison Square Garden at joshgroban.com. Next, you have this Netflix show called The Good Cop.
I do. Where I shaved the beard and got 10 years younger. Instantly, just back to babyface. I grew the beard so I would look like my voice for the first time in my career. I've always been like, who is that baby-faced baritone? And like old ladies would be pinching my cheeks, going, "We just love your low voice," And then so I was like, you know what? Damn it! I need to look.
I've never heard anyone say that. I need to look like my voice.
Grizzly. Yeah. I wanted to look grizzly. So I grew it out for the Broadway show, and I'm just like, yeah, this feels like me. I'm going to keep this.
Okay, we'll get to the Broadway
so I shaved
show
it for the TV show. Back to
okay, so it also stars Tony Danza. As you know,
right.
I have a history with Tony Danza.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
And that's not a positive
Not a positive
one. Oh, no. Well, he's lived many lives, that man.
He plays your father.
Yes.
And so what is The Good Cop about? And how do you fit? How does your piece to this puzzle fit?
It's a piece of the intervention.
Yes.
Well, I got a call out of nowhere. I was recording the album. I was recording Bridges, and I got basically a letter from Andy Breckman, who created The Good Cop and had previously created Monk, which was another show that I loved and has written for SNL and Letterman and all these people. He's just so clever. And he said, "I'm offering you the title role in my show. I've seen you do some things, and I think you're right for this character."
You're going to play a cop.
I'm going to play cop. I'm thinking to myself, like, me. You're going to ask me to be a homicide detective. Yeah, that feels natural.
See, I could see you like one of Charlie's Angels.
Thank you.
The bearded Charlie's Angels.
Thank you very much. I'm not nearly graceful enough to be one of the Charlie's Angels.
So this is a drama. This is not a comedy.
It's a dramedy. It's the kind of comedy where if you put it on mute, you think it's a drama. And it's very sharp, it's witty, it's family friendly. I mean, that was the thing, is that he really wanted to make a show that was not trying to out Grizzly, the next cop show. We're really all about solving the mysteries and the family dynamic of me and Tony, and it's a fun, sweet show.
And it's on Netflix. Yeah.
So they gave us a whole season, and it was just a lot of fun to put the music to the side for a minute and recharge that tank and go into acting. I don't sing at all in the show. I wasn't even asked.
Well, do they know you sing?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know.
Maybe they don't know.
But Tony sings the theme song.
I mean, so with all the busy things you're doing, Josh, do you? I'm going to get back to that in a second. With everything you're doing, do you have time to watch anything on Netflix? Do you have a life that allows you to binge watch any show?
When I was shooting The Good Cop, we were doing 13, 14-hour days. So no, when I was doing that, I was there before the sun came up and out of the studio long after the sun set. So
Netflix is a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. No, absolutely. No,
okay.
I poured everything into this, and Netflix. I watch the true crime stuff. I watch Evil Genius and Wild Country and The Staircase, which is
that was great.
Went on forever.
But did it? He did it.
I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
But then I saw the owl theory, and I was like, I don't know. That's rich.
I tell you, we're loving
Ozark.
Oh yeah,
Just
finished.
Did you see that?
Season 2.
I've been watching some of Ozark. Yeah, really good.
So good.
Really good. Dark.
Okay.
Dark.
Now, how long were you doing Natasha Pierre in The Great Comet of 1812?
I did that for about a year. I did almost like 275 performances.
What was that like? Because as a performer goes, it's a whole different world.
Yep.
Hitting that stage, doing it night after night.
Yeah.
And so many people loved it. Critically acclaimed show.
It was acclaimed. We were so thrilled that such a kind of an out of the box show got such an amazing reception. And it was a time in my life creatively. It was the hardest I've ever worked in my life. It taught me how strong I am. It toughened me up for sure. Because in music, we're just, especially as a solo artist, you kind of like dictate your own rules. We're all a bunch of snowflakes. We're like, we're just, I'm like, it's like, oh, I'm not feeling, my voice is feeling good today. I'm gonna go get some pasta and relax. Okay, man, just come back in. Feel it when you're ready. Come back in. It's just you can just kind of call your own shots. On Broadway, we're just, you have to do it. I was wearing a fat suit and a fur coat and had 102-degree temperature once. I lost my voice a couple times and had to go out and do it anyway. I fell in the pit during one of the drunken kind of dance scenes. I fell in the orchestra pit and had to jump out and pretend that it was part of the car.
Did you hurt anything?
No, because like I said, I was wearing a padded suit. So
thank God for fat suits.
Exactly, I was wearing a padded suit, so I probably would have really injured myself, but I was okay. So you get through all this kind of stuff that anybody who's been on Broadway or West End knows that these kind of things happen, and then before you know it, you're taking your bow at the end, and you say, "Oh, I got through it. I can do this. I can go through less than perfect situations and get through it." And so it was really, I think, the most rewarding creative experience of my life so far.
So as far as awards go, an EGOT. I mean, you definitely are an EGOT candidate.
I'm EGOT adjacent. I've been nominated for almost everything and won nothing. So I'm an EGOT whisper. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's always nice to be nominated.
EGOT, you know why they call it EGOT? Because EGOT nothing.
You got nothing. That's it.
That's not
That's
nice.
true. No, it's true.
You deserve them all.
Well,
You
that's
really,
very
truly
sweet.
do.
That's very kind. When you're a little bit out of the box, you'd mentioned very kindly before I came in here that I was one of the first people you had come in here that wasn't played on the station. That
Right.
I'm not a top 40 artist. I've always made stuff that kind of has found my own fan base, and I've kind of paved my own path, which, looking back 20 years was actually a really lucky thing, that I was able to keep my head down and have blinders on, not worry about the fad of the moment. I didn't have to chase the dragon of, I got to have the hottest producer to make that beat and keep going. But the bad news about that part of it is you're hard to categorize. It's hard to put you in a category. So
why must we?
So you don't need to. But for awards things, that's you always need to find yourself. I would always find myself next to someone like Justin Bieber or something like that, who was killing the pop game, and so it was just kind of always a weird fit.
Wow.
There isn't really a category for what I do.
How often do you get the phone call that they want you to play yourself in a show?
I always find that phone call really fun and funny. I always get a laugh at. I mean, nobody likes to make fun of myself more than I do, and so I always have a great time. Going on TV and playing bizarro version of myself. On Glee, I got to do it, and then Parks and Rec, I got to do it. So, it's fun. But then being a character is also very fun too. Yeah.
Like The Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a beautiful film, a piece of art that turned out to be. Would you ever want to do something like that?
That would be a real goal. That would be a lot of fun.
I know some people. We can call them up.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hugh Jackman.
That I would audition for sure.
Hugh Jackman listens to us.
I'm sure everybody listens to you. Everybody. That would. I mean, the movie musical is so big right now. I mean, it's so great that cinema and music and that storytelling are having such a big resurgence, because it's such an art form, and when people do it as well as they did it, I'm sure there will be more. So, hire me.
So, I mean, is he still as great as he was the first day he walked through the door? You're still such a sweetheart of a guy.
You're so nice. Thank you so much for having me on.
That's why everyone needs a copy of Bridges. I think you can pre-order it as we speak.
I thought you were going to give them away like Oprah. Like, that's why.
You
If you look under your car seats,
We're going to give away. We need 50,000 copies. I mean, okay. So Bridges officially is out Friday.
yeah, Friday, and The Good Cop. They're both coming out the same day, which was totally serendipitous.
Whoa.
I love the word serendipitous.
Me too. Great Scrabble word.
So I know you've been Josh. By the way, this is Josh Groban. If you missed the beginning of this, you can hear this on the on-demand channel on iHeartRadio. You're spending more and more time in LA, obviously.
I have been there a lot.
Don't you miss your New York a little bit?
I do. I love New York. New York is where I prefer to be. I have always felt the energy here is compatible with my energy. I need to get out the door. If I fester too much inside, it's no bueno for me. So I need to get out the front door. I need to take a walk. The parks here, the theater here, the food here, the people. I actually think it's one of the most polite cities in the world. I think sometimes people
don't understand that.
People don't understand that. They think people are kind of abrupt and honest. But I actually have found that the people in New York are the most helpful, the most considerate. It's sometimes when I go back West Coast that there's like this air kiss, but stab you in the back kind of a mentality.
Right, exactly.
And I'd rather have somebody just yell in my face and then tell me they love
like
me.
straight Nate. You got gray hair in your beard.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the reason I'm asking and we're talking about New York is Gandhi is just moving here. This is your third day living here.
Third day in the city.
From
Yes.
where?
From Boston, actually.
Okay, so you came from Boston here. Okay, well, welcome.
Okay, so advice from a New Yorker to a new New Yorker. We're all trying to give her advice. Like, what advice does one give a new New Yorker? You're a New Yorker, Josh.
Yeah. Man, well, if you're already coming from the East Coast, like I can't give you any weather advice or anything like that because you're already used to all the changes and things like that.
Fine.
You've got great food in Boston already.
So his advice is go back.
I would say
Okay, goodbye.
Go away.
Dating advice? How are the fellas around here?
Oh, well, it's dating in New York was and I'm not single anymore, but when I was dating here, it's hard because everybody's so driven. Everybody's got a million things that they're doing, and so it's hard to get like second and third dates with people because everybody's always so busy all the time. Maybe that's just the excuse they gave me. But
really
it's busy. It's very, very busy. It's very busy. Yeah.
So no dating in New York. Sounds great.
But at the same time, there are tons of single people in the city, and the good news about that is that everybody does have something going on. Everybody's driven and has passions and dreams and things like that. So it's good.
It wears me down. It's like sitting in an electric chair in the city. It drives me nuts. I love it. It's great.
And also the bars are open till super late.
Okay.
And nobody drives, so it's
a bunch of first dates. That's what I get to look forward to. First and last.
That was kind of my experience in New York.
So take it from a very, very inebriated Josh Groban. You're going to be just fine.
That's right.
I took her over to Tamarind. We had Indian food yesterday.
So good.
We got a little tipsy.
They have good cocktails at Tamarind.
Yeah.
Really
good
good.
food.
Very strong and amazing food.
There you go. He knows a lot about the food.
Lobster masala. Who even thinks of something like that? That was
what we were saying.
incredible.
I was buying it. It was way too expensive.
I know. That's an expensive dish.
All right. Okay, look. So we've covered a lot. JoshGroban.com if you want to see when he and Adina Menzel will be near you in your neck of the woods. Of course, here at the Garden on November 18th. There's something about the Garden over all other venues in the United States.
I agree.
And so, gosh, do you ever go, gosh, Josh?
Gosh, Josh. I say to myself in the mirror
I'm playing
as I twitch my mustache.
I'm playing the Garden.
Golly, Josharoo.
You sound like, what's his name from It's a Wonderful World, whatever.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart. Well, you're going to go out and you're going to play the Garden. You're going to give him the moon on a string. You're going to go out there and you're going to sing the high notes, aren't you, Josh? Yeah, you're going to go out there and make him crazy.
So check it out, JoshGroban.com.
It's not even Christmas yet, and I'm doing Jimmy Stewart.
I love you, old house.
Wait, I heard you curse on some show once or something, and I couldn't.
Blew your mind.
Groban cursed.
I know. Well, because my records are so clean, you'll never see that sticker on the front of my record. But in my personal life, I curse like a sailor.
Yeah, we
I'm
pretty
still
much
a
know
human
that.
being.
He is. He's still a foul human being.
I'm a foul-mouthed humanoid.
I love it.
He is. Okay, the album Bridges Friday. Of course, Good Cop is out on Netflix the same exact day. 10 episodes, and they all drop on the same day.
They all drop on the same day. It's Netflix. You binge it. You watch the mysteries. Try and solve them. Somebody reviewed the show and said this is your new favorite show to watch with your parents. I'm thinking like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Grab the parents, solve some crimes. Why not? I used to watch those shows when I was a kid with my parents. I used to sit on the floor and watch like Poirot and Columbo and all that stuff.
How's your dad doing?
My dad's great, by the way.
Yeah.
I got him to play trumpet with me on stage. He hadn't played trumpet in 40 years. And I got him to play Old Devil Moon with me. He rehearsed for 3 months and he crushed it.
He found his embouchure?
He did. He found the lip.
All right. If you're a trumpet player, you know what we're talking about. Josh Groban, Bridges out Friday. I'm going to play Granted. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Wait, who else
Thank
is on
you.
this album? Hold on, Andrea Bocelli's on this?
Yes, 20 years in the making. My big break was filling in for Andrea Bocelli when I was 16 years old at the Grammys, and so 20 years later to write a song that he sang on is awesome. Jennifer Nettles, who I love from Sugarland, she just knocked out of the park in the show. 99 years.
He stood in for Andrea Bocelli when he was 16 years old.
I was, yeah.
I did know that too.
You know.
I got started early. Like I said, I can grow a beard now, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I like that. The bearded Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up today.
Elvis, thank you as always for having me. It always means a lot.
And come back.